Hey, what's up? This is your girl Diamond. I go live every Friday at 7 o'clock. And we talk about all kinds of stuff. So if you look down in the information box, the description box is going to be chapters, and you can follow the chapters based on that, based on the subject that you want to hear about or you want to discuss. But we go all over the place. But the theme of this video is social constructs. We're going to be talking about social constructs because that came up this week, and I want to kind of talk about it, talk about what that means and different type of social constructs in the world. But yeah, hey everybody, how are you? Hey Android, hey Trishan, hey CL, how are y'all? How has y'all Pride Month started? Pride has been great so far this first little week, other than paying my bills. Other than paying bills, child, this week has been great. Hey, Elle, I haven't seen you in a minute. Where you been at? Hey, Turner. I have had a really good, a really good week. I went to San Francisco last Friday, and I had a really, really good time. There was a trans health summit there, and I learned so much. And yeah, it's been dope. Been trying to make these coins. I know that right. That's right. I've been thinking about child. I need to put me up an ad, get back in the game, dust off the garter belt. And honey, put an ad up, bitch, because a bitch is broke. I need some more money. Oh, child. We're doing Black Pride in BR LA on the 20th. Is that Baton Rouge? Is that what that's what BR for? Um, thank you, Nah Love. How are you? Starting off my pride competing in the biggest burlesque competition in the world this weekend. Come on, what is it called? Hey, Miss Polk. Hey, Naira. Jenny. What is it called? Deshaun, I'm about to hit a couple of straws for some extra coins. Bitch, honey. Let me tell you, bitch need $1 or two. I don't think I have the patience no more, y'all. I feel like I don't be having the patience for these niggas. I remember maybe like I don't know how many years ago it was. It might have been like 8, maybe like 8 years ago. It definitely was pre-COVID. Probably like 8 years ago. I remember I had been out of the game for a minute, but I remember I was like, oh, I'm gonna be up in this city. Let me just go ahead and throw me an ad up and see, just see what it gives, baby. Soon as I got my first call, I was like, "Oh no." I stopped answering the phone. I was like, "Oh no, 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 no. I don't have it no more. I don't have what people don't understand is when you are an escort and you getting the calls. It's there's a customer service level of that you're getting calls from people, and they're asking you your rates, they're asking you where your location, like, oh, you know what I'm saying? They're setting up the appointment. So there is a process, and you got to deal with people's personalities. You got to deal with questions, and you got to deal with, you talking about, this is the dark arts, baby. You don't know who on the other end. It could be the popos. It could be 12, honey. So you got how you have the conversation is a little, you gotta, you can't be all willy-nilly talking about everything on the phone because you could be getting set up. So you got to navigate all these things. And even if it is not a police, a popo, it's a person, and they have various personalities. They various ages, various uh what various like how they think about you, because they're when you coming into the game, sometimes when dudes come in the game, they think they can come at you like real disrespectful, and they don't have to respect you because you a hoe, because you a prostitute, because you know what I'm saying. They ain't got to respect. They can talk to you any kind of way. Oh baby, I'm not that girl. So you gotta check them. You gotta let them know, baby. You is oh no. You need to pick another girl because I'm not the girl that you can talk like that to. So click. So all of that kind of navigating. So soon as I got my first call, and there was that baby nickel and dime, baby nickel and diming me. When I was younger, I can deal with the conversation and be like, "Oh no, baby," and be all gracious, baby. When I was, baby, I got that first call and they was nickel and diamond, bitch. If you don't get off my phone, bitch ass nigga, get the fuck off my phone. Click. I didn't answer the phone no more. I was like, "Oh, it's not in me no more. It's not in me no more. I didn't become a classy bitch. I can't do it no more." So I was over it and done. I couldn't do it. Hey, Shaquilla. Is that how you say that? I get when people have what's the euphemism? When people have eccentric names, I pride myself in pronouncing it right on the first time. Because I'm black and I want you to know that I can say your name. I be excited to wanna um say people name right. Is that how you say it? So is that right? Hey Shaquilla. Hey Rosario. Shakilla. Damn, I said it wrong. Shakilla. Shakilla. Dang. Not she a killer. Come on. Shakilla the killer. Work. It's the reason why I only give my first initial. Like Shaq. Shakilla. Oh, Shakilla. Gotcha. Tequila. No, like Shaq. Shakilla. Like Shaquille. Shakilla. Okay, that makes sense. Ew. What's your fee? My fee, baby. You mean my 300 bros is right. The men try my patience, but the coins is cute, but I'm going to keep whipping these men's minds into shape. Amen. Hey, Jenny, thank you for the super chat. Yay. Anytime y'all give a super chat, you can, if you do something, like if you type something, it keeps it up there. And I can, like, if you have a question, it's something that it keeps it up there for me to answer the question. Now YouTube always doing something new. What is these little numbers that's next to y'all name? I see one. I see Android is one. Naira two, and then Trishan is three. What is these little numbers? What's that T? Anybody know what that is? Come on, experience points. Is that experience points? Are we in a video game? Is that what that means? Come on, ranks. I know that's real. Let the girls battle it out. Experience points, honey. I live for that. Yeah. Let me see. But I see this little thing, but I don't want to press nothing because then it'll probably do something stupid. Okay, mispronounce it right. Then it's Nene, Nay Love, nickname Naomi. I ain't tripping though. Nay Love. Nay. I didn't say Nay Love. Did I say that? I don't know what I said. Nay. I didn't say nay. Or did I say no love? No, I said nay. I got hours in the league for League of Legends. Come on. That always reminds me of my gay son. He loved League of Legends. I was wondering what the numbers were too. Yeah, I didn't understand that. That's new. Coming from a family where everyone has a unique sound or spelling of their name, it always feels good to be able to get it right on the first time. Yeah, I remember this girl in my high school. Thanks, Miss Polk. This girl in my high school, her name was Queandria, and she would be like, "Oh, nobody can pronounce my name. My name, just call me Q." And I was like, "Do you want to be called Q, or you just say that so people won't mispronounce it?" And she was like, "Well, if you can say it, you can say it." And I said, "Queandria." And she was like, "I know that's right. That's how you say it." Right. So I would specific everybody else called her Q, and I would specifically call her Queandria because I can say it. Honey, I can read. I used to feel so sickening about it. Let them slow motherfuckers call you Q. Don't try to dumb me down, bitch. I can say it. And we had these two African girls, Morna Kay and Nayurie, and they were sisters, and they had those names, Yuri and Yemi. Um, she had a little short, and they had a shortened their names. I was like, girl, I want to say your real name. I don't want to say no nickname because you think we too dumb to pronounce it, bitch. Especially you African hoes. Y'all think African American motherfuckers is slow anyway. So I can say your damn name. But they was ghetto as hell. So I that was they were a different, different, second generation. We done graduated into being just regular black. Hey Dreads, how are you? All right, all right, all right. So let's start some shit off. Let's give some context. All right, so we're gonna start with some messy shit. But it's gonna lead into the serious conversation, but we're gonna start with some messy shit. I'm like you, I'm saying people names right. Because I'm not slow, bitch. I can pronounce shit. Pronounce and remember and respect your name. All right, so T.S. Madison, she is a fan of the show, friend of mine. Um, cool trans icon, T.S. Madison. We know T.S. Madison, or you should know T.S. Madison. She was on Nene Leak's podcast. No, it ain't a podcast. It's a show. I don't want to do. I don't want to say it's not. It's a podcast. It's not a podcast. It's a show. And it was a good show. I think the whole show was good. What was quite interesting is that if you get into the chat box, like you get into the comments, so the chat box that y'all in now, in Nene's video, that chat box is open. So if you watch it, it is tons of transphobia going on while T.S. Madison is on the show, and it's just a bunch of, even some of her moderators was acting a fool in the chat. So it was quite it was interesting to see. And yeah, it was quite interesting to see. But I also know, as somebody, one of the critiques that I have of Madison when I talk to her on a personal level, I tell her, bitch, you're pandering to these cis women. And she'd be like, Diamond, I just don't want to be arguing. She gives that. And 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 the reason why I tell her that, I said, but you're still not gonna win, girl. They're still not gonna respect you, because the demographic that fucks with T.S. Madison is also the demographic that's gonna fuck with Nene Leakes. there's gonna be a overlap in their audience. There's gonna be a hood black um aspirational kind of demographic that's like, oh, these is fabulous black girls that so we fuck with them. There's gonna be a overlap in that. That's why I hate this damn thing. I need you. Thank you. Um, there's gonna be an overlap, and I'm like, and I was talking about this on Marsha's Plate this week, the episode that came out yesterday. The default is for them to be transphobic, girl. They can be cool. They can be entertained by you. They can get your kikis. You can shuck and jive. They can laugh at you, but they are laughing at you. They're laughing at you. And yes, you rich, you got all these accolades, you got all these opportunities, but they don't care about that. You still a man clown in the wig to them, and they're gonna continue to wear you out. So why make compromises? I don't know, antithetical to your community. I don't know if that's the right word, but just like kind of not aligning with your community just for the sake of getting along with these bitches when they don't give a fuck about you for real, for real. We do. We're gonna always defend you. Even if we see some problematic shit going on, we gonna call you in, girl, but we never gonna throw you away. You are a girl. So get the fuck out of here. That's a normal accountability community because we love you. But we ain't never gonna be dogging you out. And I'm not speaking in absolutes. There's some trash ass, non-community ass girls, non-girl trans women that'll be say some weird ass shit. I'm talking about in general. Most of us gonna fuck with you. So anyway, it was just interesting. I say all that to say it was really interesting in the comments how transphobic it was, and not surprising, but that is why I don't make compromises when it comes to one of one of the moments, the things that me and Madison disagree on as far as making compromises, and not disagree on, it is how we say things. So let me give you an example. So Madison, as a compromise, said that she was going to stop using sis. Now, I felt like that was a compromise too far. This is her choice. So I'm not saying that she's wrong. That's her choice to do. But I felt that's a compromise too far. A compromise to me is trying not to say fish. That's an appropriate compromise to me because the difference in the two words. Cisgender is not a slur. Anybody who knows the history of fish is rooted in being a slur, rooted in being, yes, we have nuances in its meaning in our culture over time. But when it started to be used, it was queer, gay men talking about cis women and referencing the smell of pussy. That is the history. Anybody who try to tell you different, they fucking lying. Yes, now that over time, fish can mean for us, can mean, oh, you're passable, you're pretty, you look cisgendered. There's different nuances of what fish can mean, but the start of calling women fish was a disrespectful derogatory term. Period. Anybody who telling you that is lying. Anybody telling you that it's not that is lying. Fish, yes, it has changed over time, and there is this way that we use it that is endearing, like nigga, but the root of it is negative. How it started? Now, that don't mean that if you choose to do it, great. Me, I choose to take it out of my vocabulary. It is a part of my respect, is a part of my um black feminist praxis to things that's kind of rooted in weird ass shit. Let me take that out. Is it hard? Is it difficult? Yes, because I grew up. That is my early queer lingo. Da 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 da. Yes, it's difficult, but I can expect other people to be all gung ho about being respectful about their language if I can't be respectful about my language? Like if I can't do the hard work in trying to adjust that language. And so I'm doing it. I'm not doing that with cisgender. Cisgender is not rooted in being a slur. It is rooted in respecting you and me. Cisgender is not a slur. Now, these new age motherfuckers want to spin it to make it seem derogatory. There's nothing about cisgender that was started or is derogatory. Period. So I just don't want to be called that. I'm a woman. That is turfy motherfuckers trying to be assholes. That's what it is. If you don't want to be called cisgendered and you don't want to hear me say it, don't listen to me. Get the fuck on. I'm gonna say that because that is not rooted in disrespect. Period. So it's not alert. And me stop using cis ain't gonna stop them from misgender and trans people. It ain't stopped none of the people. Ain't stopped them at all. Got it? All right. So I wanted to jump into that. So that's what me and Madison, when we what we talked about when maybe like a year ago or whatever, we talked about that cisgender thing changing when we were talking on the phone, and I was telling that's what was our discussing, and she was like, Diamond, I just don't want to go through it. That's what they always be saying, and I'm like, girl, fuck them hoes. But anyway, Madison was on Nene's show, and this is what she had to say. This is what the end of this came at the end of the show.
Well, if you meet somebody that's just good for me, let me know.
Would you date him if I know him?
Yeah.
Oh. Context is they're talking about Nene's dating life, and then she said if she meets somebody, if Nene tells T.S. Madison, if she meets somebody, let me know. And so then it goes into this other conversation, and T.S. Madison asks her, would you date him if I knew him?
Do you only know gay men?
Well, I don't date gay men.
What? Okay, well, I when you guys be saying that, that's weird.
Why?
Because what do you mean you don't date gay men? Because if he is sleeping with you and sleeping with a woman, he's something.
Well, he's not gay.
What is he?
He's definitely not gay.
He's bi?
Listen, because if a man come in here and he looks at me and you.
Yeah. What is he?
Well, he likes women.
Yeah, because he doesn't know.
And if he does know, he likes women.
Okay.
Now,
but what is he?
Well, that will possibly, it's a possibility.
He's bisexual?
He could be bi or he could be pan.
Okay, what was pan? I forgot.
That's
means you be whatever you like, whatever you like.
So, listen, this is a 101, trans 101 conversation. Okay. Okay. So we don't do that here. This is the jump off conversation to get y'all warmed up. We don't do this. It's a man who dates trans women, gay or straight. We had that that's probably one of my earliest videos on fucking YouTube. Like if you go right now, you go to my channel and click oldest videos, that probably is number 2, bitch. Number 2 or 3 in 2008. If you still ain't grasped the idea about whether a man is gay or straight if he dates trans women, and you ain't discussed it, I mean, what are we supposed to do? Because the conversation has been beat like a dead horse. Am I tripping about thinking that? It's kind of like you know what it feels like to me is when people say when people still have the conversation about why Black people can't be racist opposed to being prejudiced. If I have to explain that to you, if we have to have an argument about if the core of our conversation is whether Black people can or cannot be racist, opposed to prejudice. If you don't know the nuance between prejudice and racist, you haven't done that work, I don't need to be talking to you. And that's what I feel about conversations with cis women, cis people about whether or not a man who dates trans women or a woman who dates trans men, however that works. Y'all know I speak from a trans femme perspective, but it can be flipped to trans masculine perspective. If you're a woman who doesn't know the difference between me and a gay man, why am I talking to you? Like, if we're there, why am I talking to you? It's like that would be like me going to I feel like going to a Klan rally. Why am I going there to talk about race relations? They don't even respect me as humans. Like, why am I going there? and sometimes we gotta understand and accept as queer people that it is not that they don't understand what you're talking about. What it is that they fundamentally don't believe that you are a woman. Or if you were a gay person, they fundamentally believe that what you are is wrong. So you trying to give the nuance and explanations to undo that, they're not going to accept it, because on a fundamental level, even if they respect you, even if they say the right pronouns, they say your name, they affirm you in a certain way, in the core of who they are, they do not believe you are who you say you are. I'm going to respect you, but I don't believe you are what I am, or in the realm of what I am. Because I think that there's a nuance to cisgender women who, I know I'm cisgender, but I know you're a woman. You know what I'm saying? I know I'm female, but I know you're a woman. You're not female, but you're a woman. And so I think of you as a woman. I think that there are cisgender women out there. I don't think that they're the majority, but I do think that there are cisgender women out there that grasp the idea of, oh, you and I both know that you are not female. I know you don't have a uterus. You know you don't have a uterus. I know that you have a penis or a neo vagina. We know how that all works, and we understand that. But I also know that you are a woman. You are not a man. When I see you, I see a woman. When I engage with you, I engage with you as a woman. That's what it is. But I know that you are not female, and I'm not minimizing your womanhood. There are the rare breed of women who think like that, who are like, I know the difference between us, and that's okay for me to understand that, and I still respect your womanhood, and I think of you as a woman. I understand. I understand it. Like, it's not hard for me to understand. But there are some women who don't. There are some cis women or cis people who I don't put you in a category with me at all. You are a man. You are just a man that is cosplaying as a woman. And when we accept that there are people like that, even ones that respect us, even ones that you can hear it in how they talk about things. And when we accept that, we can kind of stop fucking with them and understand that them is not our people. Got it? Like somebody maybe a couple of weeks ago, I don't know who it was. Was it Ricky? Hey Ricky. Was it? I don't know if it was Ricky. I don't know who it was, but somebody who lived with their mama. Their mama is a homophobe or a transphobe or something. Somebody in our community here on the chat was living with their mama, and their mama just don't accept them. And you got to get to the point where sometimes these motherfuckers don't accept you, and they're not going to. They're not going to. They get what you're trying to tell them, but I don't agree with what you're saying. And there are people who are like that. I totally comprehend what you're trying to tell me, but I don't agree with it. And if you get to the point where you understand that it's not about you, you can explain to the cows come home. If they don't agree, they don't agree. And you're wasting your time. Especially them religious motherfuckers. Like, if it's going against their core belief and their sky daddy beliefs that you don't exist, or you some demon manipulating God's perfect plan, that's psychosis. You can't undo that. You can't undo that. That is rooted in their core beliefs, and you just can't undo it. And sometimes you're wasting your time. Now, I understand it gets difficult when it is somebody that is your parent. I understand that it gets difficult when it's somebody that is your sibling, somebody that you can't just all willy-nilly disconnect from because they are a part of your family unit. Even though I told y'all motherfuckers, the blood of the covenant is thicker than water. That's what the actual quote is. Blood don't mean that you're fucking family. And you need to start investing in the idea that your chosen family can be blood related or unblood related. And that is your people. The people who fuck with you. It ain't just because we related. I know some motherfuckers that's related that will rob me, steal from me, have done it, that will wear you out, that will leave you for dead, wouldn't piss on you if you were fucking on fire. And they blood. And that's not my people. And you need to understand that that's not your people. So I wanted to jump off with that conversation. If you want to go check it out, check it out. But yeah, got it. And so this leads us back to social constructs. And when we think about the just hilarious shit. So I know we done beat that with a dead horse, but I wanted to start with that, and then just so we can understand how social constructs work. Because when Nene was saying what she was saying to Just Hilarious in the conversation, she was like, oh, there's a difference between woman and female. And woman is a social construct, and female is female male. The binary between female and male is also a social construct. So these things are complex. This is not trans 101. These are a little bit more complex. So we want to go down that rabbit hole so we can understand some things that are a little bit more complex than is he gay or straight? Oh, da, 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 da. So we want to explore some complex things and learn together. You feel what I'm saying? That's kind of where I want to be at in the conversation. You feel me? So when we are talking about when she's explaining to her social constructs, there's people who don't understand what a social construct is. Do you see what I'm saying? It was like, what? That's why you see in the comments, they're like, what, man and woman? That's just basic biology. Even though they only had an 8th grade level of education in biology. Even though their 8th grade biology education is intentionally dumbed down just so it can be understood on a basic level. But when you get so think about it. So when they're explaining in biology chromosomes and sex chromosomes and what makes you male and female, the X and the Y. They explain on the very simple basis that when you are a woman, when she's giving her eggs, a cisgender woman, female, female, when a female gets her eggs released and it's inseminated by the sperm, blah, 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 the egg always got X, XX. The dude, when he shoots his little sperm to go into the egg, it's either a XX or XY. If it's a XX going into the XX chromosome with the female, it's going to be a girl. If it's a XY going into the chromosome with the XX from the female egg, it's going to be a boy. That is simple, basic biology, very, very simple, dumbed down. But we know we get up into college when we read some more upper level books that nuance, that there are nuances that can happen within that conception. It could be you could be XXY, you could be androgen insensitive, to where, oh my God, yes, this sperm had a Y, but there was some androgen insensitivity, so it didn't react to the Y, even though the sperm said you're supposed to be a boy, but because it was insensitive to the androgen, because of what was happening in being conceived in your stomach, the baby didn't develop into a male. The dick didn't drop, the balls didn't drop. Because when we all in the womb, we all females. And then when the androgen started to work shit out, it's like, oh, it's time to drop your balls. It's time to drop your gonads. It's time to drop that dick on out. But sometimes in the womb, there's an insensitivity that I'm not even gonna react to that little Y. Fuck that little Y. Fuck you. So when I come out, I look like a regular girl. But when I hit puberty, because I have the Y, something ain't happening. Something ain't going right the way it normally supposed to go right. And then the doctors is like, let's just run some tests. Why you can't have no babies? Oh, why you did it? Blah, 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 blah. What's going on? Blah, blah, blah. Let's run some tests. Oh, baby, genetically, you were supposed to be male. You had the XY chromosome. You didn't have the XX like a regular woman, but you were raised and born as a cisgender woman. There's nuances. There's tons of nuances like that. And people will act like, oh, that is such a rare occasion. While individual syndromes and autosomal abnormalities, sex abnormalities are maybe rare, when we collectively add them together, they're not rare. Intersex alone is like redheads. The frequency is like redheads. So how many redheads have you seen in the world? You done seen, maybe not as much as you've seen a brunette or as much as you've seen fake ass blondes. But redheads, we have tons of redheads in the world. So if you think about how many natural redheads you have seen in the world, that's how many intersex people that you have seen in the world. And also, because we have this really flattened idea of the X and Y chromosome, we don't actually deep dive. Experts do, but everybody don't just deep dive study these types of things, because the estimated frequency of a male child having an extra X chromosome, XXY, the frequency ranges from 101 out of every 500 births to 1 out of every 1,000 births. So I want you to think about how many billions of people that we have on this earth, and how many men have an extra X chromosome. 1 out of every 500 or 1 out of every 1,000 births. If so, that extra X chromosome might explain how we got so many bitch ass niggas out here. Maybe. You never know. but we don't study these type of things. You feel what I'm saying? So that I want you to understand that even that range of female and male, that the sex, that is also a construct, and also has a binary in it, that has a nuance where it's just not black and white. Got it? Okay. So let's talk about social constructs. All right. Let me go into my notes. A social construct is a concept or idea that exists because society as a whole agree that it exists. Its meaning is created and maintained through human interaction, shared understanding, and cultural norms, rather than being an inherent objective reality. If people stop agreeing on it, on its existence or its meaning, the construct would cease to exist in the same way. So, what are some examples that y'all know of that are social constructs? Don't talk about gender. What other social constructs outside of man and woman are there? I'm going to start. Money. Money is a social construct. By itself, money is a piece of paper. It inherently has no value. Let me see if I can find me a piece of paper. Here's a fucking receipt for something. I don't know. Receipt. This piece of paper is the same thing as a $100 bill. They both are piece of papers. They're just piece of papers. Thank you, Moni. Mwah. They're just piece of papers. What's the difference between this and a $100 bill? On a basic level, what's the difference? On a basic level, none of them have a value. Neither one of them have a value. But I can't take this to the bank and pay. I can't take this to pay no bills. But I can take a $100 bill to the bank or to pay some bills, and it'll take care of it, because we collectively have agreed that the $100 bill has value. But on a reality level, it does not. They both are fucking pieces of paper. So money is a social construct. Are we getting that? Like, are we understanding that humans decided that this piece of paper is not worth nothing, and that $100 bill piece of paper? I wish I had a $100 bill. Do y'all be carrying cash like that? I don't be carrying cash like that. Anyway, is that old school? Are we aging out of that? I don't know. Anyway, so even the credit card, it's a piece of plastic. You swipe it and the technology pays for shit. But it's really just a piece of plastic. Let me find. I don't have none of my credit cards close to me. But yes. Yeah, you have a piece of plastic that don't mean shit, and then you have a piece of plastic that does mean shit. All of this shit is made up. All right. What's some examples that y'all said? Somebody said the construct of time. Time. Yes. Let's talk about time. Time. When we talk about time, we're talking about the units of hours, minutes, days, weeks. The passage of time itself is a natural phenomenon, but how we divide it up in specific units like seconds, minutes, hours, days, weeks, all that kind of stuff. The social meaning we attach to those units. An example, a concept of a weekend or a work day are all human agreements and inventions. Like, what's a work day? For some people in Sweden, it might be different than what it is in America. What does the weekend look like for us? It may be 2 days. Somebody else, it may be 3, maybe 4 somewhere else. It just depends. When the week. When we think about the calendar year, the lunar year, the Chinese, and what's Chinese New Year, what's our New Year? We are all on the same time frame because we all haven't agreed on every single thing because this is not real. This is a social construct. It's not real. We agree that, okay, we go. And then sometimes it's different things. Like, I don't know what's the word for it. It's part of my ignorance. I know military time. What's the other kind of time? The regular time. Like, is it standard time? Like, military time is going to go through 1 through 24, but regular time is just 12 over and over, two times. What's the other? This is military. What's the other? Is it just standard? Is the name of it? What's the name of this kind of time? The regular kind of time where you go through 1 through 12, 1 through 12. Is there a name for it? Do y'all know that? Y'all smart. What's the name for it? Is it just standard? Anyway, but it's not real. Law is a social construct. Absolutely. It is. It is. Race is definitely a social construct. Absolutely. Borders. Hannah said borders. Yes, that is a good one. That is a good one. Do we get that one? Borders. Marriage. Marriage is a social construct. So we have talked, there's tons of, when we talk about race, while there is a biological difference of people, the categories that we talk about in regards to race and ethnicity are largely social constructs. They have been created and used by societies to categorize people. Okay. They're not really real. We're all just human beings. Okay. There's some, it's kind of like dogs. They're all just dogs, but there's different categories of dogs that have different breeds of dogs with different mutations, but they're all fucking dogs. They're just dogs. But we categorize. And this doesn't mean, okay, because when we talk about social constructs, we also, people be like, what do you mean it's not real? That's real. Yes, race is real because we agree to it. So yes, when I go out here, I'm not saying, I know when I say race is not real, I know when I go out my door that racism is going to affect me. My race is going to be because the world has agreed that I'm a light-skinned Black woman. Okay? And so I know that the world, because of how we have agreed to this social construct of race, they're going to treat me and perceive me in a certain kind of way. And that perception is a reality. I know money is not real, but I know the reality of how we agree about money. The reality is this is what we all agreed on. So yes, I can really take this fucking $100 bill and go pay my lights. Got it? Yes. But to give you another context, the island of Manhattan that New York City sits on, that was bought by the colonizers from the Native Americans who occupied that land for beads. Because to the Native Americans at the time, beads was something valuable to them. But to these colonizers trying to hustle, they was like, oh, these savages think that beads are worth value. Let's just give them the beads. Because in their society, in the colonizer society, coming over here taking shit, beads didn't mean anything. But when they actually talked to these Native Americans and was trying to negotiate with them about the land, Natives said, well, we'll take your beads. Because to them, the beads had value. We don't talk about that history, but there's a book called Stoned that does a whole deep dive on that history of Manhattan. So they was like, oh, these savages don't care about money. Let's give them the beads. So to the colonizer, it was a hustle. Like, here you go. We don't care about these beads. But to the Native American, they like, ooh, sickening. We got these beads. Take this land. Enjoy. All right. So y'all do your research on that. Also, same book, Stoned, another great book about what we value. There was an economic crash in the Netherlands, in Holland, in the Dutch area, because their currency was tulips. The flower. Go and look up the economic crash of tulips in the Dutch community. Baby, it was a gag. So thank you, Standard Time. Marriage. Yeah. So I want to talk about some of the more less talked about. So we talk about race, we talk about gender. We'll get into that. We talk about beauty standards. What's considered, let's talk about some of these other somebody brought up nation and borders. So let's talk about nations and borders. So these lines that we create on a map and the concepts that we talk about, like what is the US, what is Canada, what these lines aren't real either. Those nations and borders, those concepts that only exist because people agree on those boundaries and the rules associated with those boundaries. I think her name is Aja Green. If you go to my hold on, I'll give it to you. Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. I think it is an amazing book. Not Aja Green. It is Aja Raiden. That's what it is. Let's see. Here you go. All right. So, yes. So beauty is a social construct. So we know that borders and bullshit is not real. Beauty standards. What we consider beautiful, it varies widely. It's not real. That doesn't mean that the reality of our collective beliefs doesn't affect us. Remember, that nuance of the conversation that we're having. It varies widely across cultures and in time periods. It's like, for example, so what our culture feels like is skinny and attractive and I mean black. What we think is sexy and attractive has always been different than what they thought was sexy and attractive. In my culture, thick thighs, big old booty, small waist, ample titties. I've never been in a time in my life where that wasn't attractive. Now, I'm not talking about what I'm saying is that it doesn't mean fat phobia does not exist in the Black culture, but our range of what is fine was always a little more thicker than theirs. Always. Always, always, always. Got it? Always, always, always. And y'all tell me if I'm wrong. Black dudes have always liked Black dudes who were invested in our culture. Now, if they're trying to be anime trade, they're trying to be emo trade, they might have adopted somebody else's taste, some other culture's taste. But if they are in our culture and like our culture, usually their range of what is beautiful in the physical shape would be a little thicker than the normal body type. So like when they were fetishizing back in the 90s, when they were fetishizing J-Lo's booty, and the Black people was like, I mean, it's cool, but it's giving regular body. We got girls that got body like that, and y'all tripping about J-Lo booty. Y'all think that's big? Okay. If you was in our culture, that was kind of the conversation that was being had, because we like, girl, what? That's big? No, that is not big to us. Now, we talked about this. Me and my friends talked about this, where what we consider big now, back in the day, is like regular. They bodies is regular. Because baby, I be seeing body yaddy yaddies. I'm like, oh God, you got too much ass. Well, too much ass for my taste. That's why we see tribes in other countries where they are putting plates in their lips. That's one of the common ones that we see. Putting things in their ears to stretch their ears. We see different things that for them is beautiful to them. Or they'll do something that makes them more beautiful, like either take their teeth out or stretch their necks, or put them kind of constrictive shoes on so their feet can be little and all crimped up, because to them that's beautiful. Now, I'm turning my nose up and I shouldn't be, but because I don't live in that culture, I don't know it, so it's weird to me. And so that's on them. That's what they do. What I like is based on my cultural standard of beauty, and that is not real. That's not real. Okay. What else? What other one? Adulthood. I don't think we think about adulthood being a social construct, but it's a construct. When a person is considered an adult, the specific age of which someone is granted adult rights and responsibilities, like voting, drinking, driving, and entering contracts, varies significantly by culture to culture and country. This clearly demonstrates that the adulthood is a social construct, meaning a social agreement, and not purely based on biology. Do y'all get what I'm saying? Y'all getting that? How adulthood, because in one state, adulthood is this. In one state, especially the age of consent, the age you can get married, the age, all these different age things. And even right now, there is a shift happening. People are like, oh, your frontal lobe is not developed, so you're not really an adult. You can make decisions for yourself at 23 because your frontal lobe. Girl. I have a problem with that, but I don't date 20 something. So I don't have any dog in that fight because I don't be dating 20 something. So I don't really care. But I do have a problem with people taking away the agencies of young adults. Um because of weird ass shit like that. So yeah, so that who can be an adult is a social construct too. Marriage, the institution of marriage. I want to do marriage another time because I want to do that in the I want to go into another subject that I got for y'all before I do marriage. Marriage is also a social construct, but I'm going to explain that later. Fashion and clothing. What we consider fashionable and appropriate in regards to clothes changes across culture. There's nothing inherently like stylish about fabric, color, blah 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 blah. We decide what is luxurious and what is not. We see this shit happening with this vegan shit. Like they charging us for fucking fake leather, high end prices for the same price as leather for some fake ass shit that they done made. Shit like that. You see how it's switching? Where I'm like, this shit's pissing me off. I want some leather, motherfucker. And you fucking giving me this pleather shit that's cheaper for you to create, but you charging me the same ass price for this shit. It's the same thing with the little organic and organic shit that's pissing me off. The vegan and organic shit. Like they overpricing for vegan and organic shit when this shit how it should be in the first place. When the eggs and fucking berries and shit didn't used to have pesticides and all that weird ass shit, y'all was charging regular fucking prices. Now all of a sudden, because you gotta go through because you done went through the natural process of having organic shit, you charging me more for it? Bitch, fuck you. It should be regular price. It should be high. You playing in our motherfucking face. These grapes have not been touched by any pesticides. That's how it's supposed to fucking be. And the process to do that cost us a little more, so we have to charge you a little. Fuck you. You capitalist asshole. Anyway, I digress. That's a whole other subject. That pisses me off. Anyway, so yes, fashion is a social construct. I'm trying to think of things that are not that we don't really all beat the dead horse on, that we don't really talk about. Greetings, how we say what's up to a motherfucker, how we say hi, all those greetings, like handshakes, bows, kisses, all those kind of things. Kisses on the cheek. Baby in the grocery store trying to hold it together. Baby, listen, over it. Want to cuss them hoes out. The specific way that we greet people and how we learn to do it is very unique to each culture that you are in. So when somebody says greeting, that is a social construct. That behavior is a social construct, and it's going to be different. So how I say hi, how you say hi, how this person say hi, how we meet each other and what we do is going to be different across the board. Brands and logos is a common social construct that we don't give, that we don't kind of break down. Brands like Nike with the swoosh, Coca-Cola, we know what Coca-Cola looks like. The value of that brand logo and that brand name is a social construct. We have said that Louis Vuitton, Gucci, what other high-end brands? Arnez, Chanel. We have said that these are high class. We have given them value and power. We have agreed socially that these are the ones. Okay. And so that value is built on motherfucking scams. But that value is built on advertising, reputation, Do they have the reputation of creating a product that's not going to tear up on you? That's that. And sometimes it's positive and real, and in regards to like the production value. Because I've had some clothes, and honey, that baby, you buy it and you wear it 1-2 times, wash it 1-2 times, is destroyed and wore out and not good. And then I have some shit that, oh my God, this is quality. I don't watch it and I had this for years. Some jeans, a t-shirt that, oh, I don't had this for years and it's fire. Um so the reputation for them to have quality, emotional connection, the collective perception of these things, and so these things give a brand its value. The logo itself, the symbol, doesn't have any meaning until we as a people imbue it with meaning. Like when we imbue it, when we say this logo, this LV has meaning. Oh, that we agree on that. Poor, rich, da 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 da. We have agreed it, whether voluntarily or not. We've agreed that this particular thing is connected to class and status or value. And that changes within particular groups of people. Like if you are it's just different things. Like when we think about God, what is something that's not obvious? What is, say that you are in a particular region of the country and y'all are sorority sisters, and your sorority, for some reason, the tradition is to get this particular type of ring. So you go to a particular type of jeweler to get this ring. So whether you go to some crazy jeweler in, say you live in Georgia, you go to some crazy jeweler in Seattle to get your ring, it doesn't have the same value if you don't go to the jeweler that the culture of this sorority has said has value. So you need to go to Matu jeweler in such and such. And so now this collective group have agreed that that jeweler is the one that sets the standard for us as sorority sisters. And I'm making up this scenario, but I'm giving you this where in certain groups and certain cultures, they can make this particular thing the unique brand standard of their group. Got it? You asshole. So, y'all got it? Does it make sense? So, like, I'm trying to think of, yeah, and poor people do this too. Like, there are certain things that we fuck with, poor people fuck with, that that everybody else doesn't fuck with. So yeah, Louis Vuitton is, because it's levels and tiers to this. So Louis Vuitton, Gucci, Chanel, Hermes, blah 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 blah. Yeah, they're sickening, but we can't afford them. So what is the next level of what we can actually get access to? So that's why you see the hood girls wearing Michael Kors, Coach, because they are mid-level luxuries. So they can't even fathom spending $5,000 on this bag. But I can spend $1,500 on this bag, or I can spend $500 on a Dooney and Burke, or do you see what I'm saying? There's tiers to what you actually have access to. So the hood girls might be wearing baby fat. The hood girls might be wearing, you know what I'm saying? Not now, but I remember growing up. These was like the more accessible brands that weren't like those other brands, that weren't as accessible, that were more accessible than those other name brands. Got it? I remember my mom used to talk about the 80s. In the 80s, they used to wear a certain shoe called, they called them white girls, and they look like let me search for, I don't know what they're. Do y'all remember what white girls look like? White girls' shoes. Yes. That's funny that Google knew what I was talking about. So when my mom was growing up, these were called white girls. So they were just like a white shoe. Yeah, they were just called white girls. And so when they were growing up, they would be wearing them with their little socks. And this was something popular in the 70s and 80s. And so for her, there was a particular type. This is a picture from the 80s. That was really common. Kids, but they called them white girls. Tennis shoes. And so you had to get a certain type of kids, a certain type of white girls in their culture, because that's what made you seem fly. That's what the rich classy bitches was doing in the 70s and 80s, but the hood girls, that was what it was. Yet we had to wear them white girls in Job Corps. Rest in peace, Job Corps. This administration is stupid. Anyway, yes. Plimsolls. What the hell is plimsolls? I don't know what that is. Is that what white girls call? Is that what the name of it? I haven't heard that word ever. What is plimsolls? Plimsolls. Oh yeah, plimsolls. They white girls. That's what they call. Yeah, that's what they are. Plimsolls. Oh, I didn't know there was another name for them. I heard kids before, but I never heard of plimsolls. But yes, right. Yes. Yep. Those are white girls. Hmm. Let me see if this is deep. I don't know if this is Midwest, but let me see if y'all know this. This is deep black culture. What are knobs? What did y'all people call knobs? Do y'all even know what knobs are? What are knobs? This may be Midwesty. I don't know if everybody called them this, but I know in my hood they call them knobs. What is knobs to y'all? Chucks used to be the generic gym shoe. Now they cost like Jordans. Yep, facts. Yeah. All right. So these are so knobs. Okay, so I assume don't nobody know what knobs are. All right. So yes, this gotta be some Midwest shit. So in our culture, knobs are those old school Stacy Adams shoes with the knobs on the toe. their toe looked like they was real shiny when they was like new and fresh. They were like shiny, and this is like an old pair, so they don't look as bulbous, but they look like that. This is old. This is an old pair of shoes, but when they like fresh, they shiny, and that tip of them shine like knobs. So, oh, here's a more newer pair. And so that part right there, that is knobs. And so one of my favorite memories in high school, every time I think about it, I bust out laughing. So we had this girl named Kiana. She was like a plus size girl. So if you I don't want to say all plus size people. I don't know. I don't want to stereotype. But most of the plus size people in my school, they knew how to roast, because if they were like just fat all their life, because people had roasted them a lot, they were good at roasting too. So so this how plus size people, kind of like similar to queer people too. It's either two things is going to happen. You are either going to learn how to roast, or you're going to become more quiet and timid. So if you getting roasted all the time, it's going to be two of those things. You're going to be quiet and timid, not want to be scared and not wanting to get roasted, or you're going to become a more verbal fighter. You're going to be like, oh, I can read people flexible. Right. You're going to either come with it or you're going to not. So a lot of queer people and a lot of fat people, they learn how to roast early in their life. So that's why it's hard. It's going to be hard for you to read a queen, and it's going to be hard for you to read a fat bitch, because she's going to come at you. Unless they one of the weak ones. So Kiana was not one of the weak ones. Kiana, big as hell, but will read you down. And it'd be funny as hell. She'll have the whole room cracking up. I live for Kiana. She was a homophobe, but just the fact that she was a good reader made I liked her in that regard. She was homophobic as hell though. So I digress. Balance. So one time, we're in our sex education class. Rest in peace to sex education. Oh, our administration is stupid. We were in our sex education class, and we had not studied. I don't want to say, I don't know who else, but anybody in our collective group, we were the group in the back of the class that was always making jokes and being funny. And it's me, this dude named Charles, Kiana, and this other dude named Royce. So we always in the back. We always either coming in late. This is one of them classes that we like, it's sex education class. We like, child, get out of here. So anybody who has been, I don't know, is this everywhere? Did everybody have JROTC? Like the military shit? Like, did every school have that? Was that normal in every school? So at our school, you had to come dressed in uniform. Certain days of the week, the ROTC people. Now that I think about it, that was indoctrination, trying to recruit people into the military. I don't like that. I didn't think about it in high school, but I'm thinking about it now. That was indoctrination, you motherfuckers, trying to be slick and push our black kids into the fucking military, you assholes. I'm just clocking it. But yes, they would have to go, they would have to be in uniform each time they go to their ROTC class, or each time they was it every day, or it was just their class, or was it all day? I don't know. It was some kind of rule about they had to be in their little green uniforms. They had to be in their green uniform. I don't know. That's what I'm asking. I don't know if white schools didn't have that. I'm not for sure. I don't know if they did. I didn't go to a white school, so I don't know. But it's not like I went to a predominantly black school, but they weren't. It wasn't like it was the black school. We was desegregated hoes. It was the fucking 90s. So we weren't separated by white. There was white people that went to our school, but it just was predominantly black. But I don't know. I know it had to be some type of somebody in here that knew the rules about ROTC. But it was they either had to go to the class. They had to either go to the class in their uniform, or one day of the week that they had their ROTC class, that's the day that they had to wear their uniform all day. Because sometimes they would be, it was all day. Like they would be in their uniform all day. And so Charles is in ROTC, and this is a class and he's in our class. So we all, you can tell, we laughing because none of us did no kind of reading and studying. And whatever test we about to take, none of us had done it. None of us had done the fucking work. And so we sitting there like, and this is one of those timed tests. So, and whatever going on, this particular test is my teacher's. We talking about this teacher is being really, really like hard ass about this test this week. Other weeks he'd be kind of cool and not tripping, but for whatever reason, this week he was just like just really gung-ho about the time and about you motherfuckers need to study and you didn't study, I'm gonna fail you, and he would just it was just something about this week that made him really, really annoyed with us being disinterested in this sex education class. And so he was timing us. So he got our rule and put the little timer, he had one of the little cooking timers in his class. And he said he put the timer on, and he was like, here you go, you got this much time, and so blah, blah, blah. So we keep hearing the little timer thing going. We hear it going, whatever that little noise that it makes. And so so the teacher keeps saying like, oh, it's 10 minutes, you got 5 minutes, you got 3 minutes, and he's getting down to the wire. And so you see Charles, he in his uniform, and he see he nervous. Everybody is kind of nervous, but you can tell Charles is nervous because his leg keep tapping his leg is shaking and he's tapping his fucking shoe on the ground. And so imagine the pressure of a timed fucking test, and everybody in your vicinity didn't fucking study, so you can't even cheat or ask for answers because none of these motherfuckers know shit. And so the time is cutting down, and the teacher say, all right, you got 1 minute. And Kiana, always trying to make everybody laugh, Kiana says out loud to the whole class, damn, I can't even fucking concentrate because this motherfucker's tapping these fucking knobs. And because that's some country old school ass shit, only older people was fucking wearing Stacey Adams at the time. So for her to say it was so country and old school and loud, and all of us start busting out laughing because he would wear these our ROCT people had to wear these like black patent leather shoes that had a big ass knob on them, and he kept tapping them, and it was getting on all of our nerves, but we couldn't really say nothing because we all is kind of just nervous trying to take the test. And so when she say that, I can't even fucking concentrate because this motherfucker over here tapping these motherfucking knobs, baby, even the teacher just started busting out laughing because that shit was so fucking funny. It may not be funny to y'all because I ain't got the context, but that shit was funny to me. And I think about it every blue moon, every time I think about funny moments in high school. Tapping these motherfucking knobs. But yes. So, all right. So let me go to marriage. I want to talk about marriage. Oh, before I get to marriage, I want to talk about gender and sex. So, gender and sex. So, gender. This refers to um, the social constructed roles and behaviors and expressions of an identity that the society has deemed and associated with masculine and feminine. It's influenced how people perceive themselves and how they perceive each other, how they act or how they interact, and and of course the distribution of fucking power and resources. Um Gender, we know based on non-binary people, based on how we all navigate gender, it is not confined to a binary. It can change over time. It is a social construct. Okay, it is even sex. So what a woman looks like in India is not what a woman looks like in certain tribes of Africa. What a woman looks like in the United States is not what a woman looks like in um in I don't know where else. Some tribe in South in the Amazon. What we consider woman is going to be different. Now, I know that we conflate female and woman a lot of times. I know we conflate that, but that there's a reason why they're two different words. They are different things. And when it comes to Black trans people, there are very few Black trans people, unless they're young and they haven't worked out the nuances between female and male. Because I see a lot of young people conflating those two. But if they have worked out the language and understand it, most of us know and proclaim that we are not, like, as a trans woman, I don't claim to be a female. I claim to be a woman. I know what a female does. I know what a female can do. I know what a female is. I'm not that. I'm not confused about what I was born. I'm not confused about my body. I'm not confused about the capabilities of my body. I'm not confused about any of the stuff. I'm not confused about anything. When we think about sex as a social construct, it is a social construct. This typically refers to biological attributes, primarily associated with the physical, like your genitalia, and your chromosome, your hormones, your reproductive anatomy. Usually, people love to narrow it down to reproductive anatomy, and even though we have these biological variations like intersex, the category of male and female generally are understood as biological classifications. But even within biology, the idea of like this strict binary is not fucking real, because I just explained to you how people can people's expressions, their biological expression, can be so nuanced and varied. And the things that we gender also can be nuanced. Now, this is about to be controversial. Okay? So I'm just going to say it. When are we ready to have the conversation? So let me make the statement. So, what we think about as gendered in the body, the physical body, not what we feel in the mind, the physical body. We love to talk about hormones. We love to talk about the genitalia, and we talk about, most motherfuckers don't do this, but we're going to talk about it today, the brain structure. So there is different things that are gendered in the body, like not gendered, sexed in the body. So when we think about brain structures, there are particular female brain structures. There are particular female genitalia body parts. There are particular ranges of balance in female hormones. Now, when we say female hormones, we're talking about estrogen, but we know that all humans create estrogen and testosterone. So human hormones, but the one that is more associated with females is estrogen, and the one that's more associated with males is testosterone. We know that, but we all as humans create all of those things. The nuance comes when everybody doesn't create the same natural balance of estrogen and testosterone. So that's when we get these women and men. They don't really talk about the men because sexism. And they don't really talk about the non-black or non-white ones all the time either. So racism. When we get these nuances of women who got this supernatural level of testosterone that making them fast, that making them strong, that making them do shit sickening. We got this nuance, especially this uptick in anti-trans shit. We got these people who are actually, their physical natural body is creating more than the average male testosterone. But it's natural. And they were cisgender women. And so because of these strict binary rules, we don't know how to engage with that. So we harm them. We strip their titles. We make them go through disgusting, invasive tests. We ban them from certain sports. Do you see what I'm saying? Even though they don't have any control over this. And we don't do that to the men. How many men have we tested to see if they have physical advantages? What about the man that produces more testosterone, or this male that produces more testosterone than this other male? Is that fair? Is that unfair? But we don't look at that. We talked about Michael Phelps. Michael Phelps talked about Michael Phelps being being this amazing elite swimmer, but he naturally produces either less or more lactic acid in his body. And so that reduces his chances to get fatigued. That's a natural advantage that he has. Is that unfair to the other swimmers? And if that's the case, if it's unfair, why y'all don't force him to take medicine to balance that out like y'all do the cisgender women who have more testosterone? Those are both chemical unfair, quote unquote, advantages. Why we don't do that to all these motherfuckers? Because you don't care about fairness for real. You just want to demonize PLC women. Or you just want to be political about the trans issue. So you demonize these people. Clock that T. So I don't really care about fairness. Skeleton. But then even if skeletons can be different. Yes, skeletons can be different, but even those have a range. Remember that too. Even those have a range. People love to talk. A lot of trans folks love to say, oh, if we find your skeleton 1,000 years from now, they're gonna know. Actually, they won't. That's not how it works, because you don't know anything about biology. There's some telltale signs, but after a while, those telltale signs go away. even with the skeleton, even with the carbon. Those telltale signs go away. So, yes. All right. If you are watching, thumbs up. Make sure you thumbs up. Let's go into marriage. So, marriage is a social construct. The institution of marriage and its rules, ceremonies, and legal implications are entirely social constructs. What constitutes a valid marriage? Who can marry whom, and the right and responsibilities of married partners have changed dramatically through history. Okay, and across culture. Think about do you know if you have any South Asian or Indian particularly, if you have any South Asian friends, most of their parents were arranged marriages. Like if they don't you like if you I don't want to say all of them, nothing is absolute, but anytime I have talked about to a South Asian person about how their parents met, 9 times out of 10, it is not some romantic, oh, they dated, they met in college. Da, 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 da. It is arranged. That is a part of their culture. It is their marriages be arranged. I met this girl last Friday. We were eating dinner together, and we were just all talking about our upbringing or whatever. And she said, yeah, my dad came over to my house because there was this arranged marriage between my aunt and my dad. And when she said that when he came to meet my aunt wasn't there, but he met my mom. And instead of him talking to my dad about hooking up, being married to my aunt, he said, can I choose your other daughter? And unbeknownst to her mom, she didn't know what was going on. She didn't know what was going on. And so her and her mom, they forced his mom to marry this random dude that just came to her house because the father had arranged it. And that's normal in their culture. In their culture. That's normal. So, polygamy, when we think about those whole swaths of communities in Utah. So, queer people in our marriages. It's all of these things are social constructs that we all have agreed to, but some cultures have not agreed to certain things. Do you see what I'm saying? Like this is that's why it's fake. That's why it's like a social construct, because it's not really real. These rules aren't really real. And so, yeah. I wanted to talk about that. Facts. My boss was Indian in their arranged marriage, and they live in Atlanta, but it was still arranged. Yes. That's really, really common. And for me, any South Asian person I met, not this generation, not like millennials and lower. Yeah, when I think about millennials and lower, I can see them not being arranged. But older, like boomers and fucking Gen X's, baby, they be arranged, honey. Every time I hear about their parents, oh, my parents was arranged. All right, so now that we talked about marriage, I want to talk about I want to talk about marriage. Marriage, let me go to. That's what friends are for. Good times, bad times, I'll be at your side forevermore. That's what friends are for. All right. So, first of all, I be following niggas because they fine. And if they smart and fine, oh, I'm a fan forever. Like if they talk that talk and they got a brain and they fine, I'll be following them. I be following them, honey. I love a smart, handsome ass man, especially if he chocolate. So my favorite chocolate content creators that's male that be on there talking that good shit. I love Conscious Lee. He done been on the channel. He done been on the show. I love Conscious Lee. His chocolate dreaded headed ass is fine to me. Josh Doss from Chicago, political data and analysis. Josh Doss, oh my god, so fine, my type. Oh my god, so sexy, so fine, so smart. Love him. Mwah. Would eat him up. Also, Kier Gaines, therapist, smart, intelligent. Kier Gaines, I love him. He is my fire and desire. Them three, I would eat them alive. But yes, here Kier Gaines talking about how he don't like being a parent. Gotcha?
So I posted one time that I love my children and I'm glad that I'm their parent, but I don't really like being a parent. I gotta acknowledge that that's gonna rub people the wrong way, and I get it. A lot of people have a really hard time holding two conflicting truths at one time. I do not. I understand that I can be blessed to have an opportunity, and I can also be frustrated by the most stressful parts of that opportunity. Those two different things can live in the same apartment. And again, I love my children. You always gotta qualify it with that. I love my children, but parenthood is like, you know how we all got that cousin? You love them, but you don't really like them. Like, bro, if we weren't related, you and I would never be in the same place and have a conversation. That's my relationship with parenthood. Unwavering selflessness is just not my bag. It's never been. I need something for me. What's going on here? I thought that I'd be more of a my children are my world kind of parent. My mom was that kind of parent, and all of her happiness was tied up in my happiness. And she died a woman who didn't really know who she was. And parenthood has a right to all of my time. Fine. It has a right to all of my money, all of my love and devotion. You can have it. Parenthood does not have a right to all of my identity. I am more than just a dad. I was my own person for 30-something years before my first daughter was born. I'm my own person in the mix of giving me to them too. And I'm going to be a person long after they leave me to have their own families. My whole identity is not wrapped in parenthood. And if yours is, I think that's absolutely fine. But mine is not. Can't do it. I love how there's not supposed to be different genres of parenting. Like we're all supposed to approach this thing with the same mindset. Absolutely not. So I posted one time that I love my children and I'm glad that I'm their parent, but I don't really like being a parent.
All right.
I gotta acknowledge that that's gonna rub.
So, all right. So what he's saying makes total sense. I agree with him. I think that what he's saying makes total sense. It's like, yo, like people fetishizing and acting like parenthood is the best thing since sliced bread, and like there is no issues that come with being a parent, no volunteered. Well, I don't say it ain't always volunteered, but if you decide to keep it, then you volunteered. Or the person you got pregnant decide to keep it. You volunteered by sticking your penis in some pussy, and we know that sticking penises in pussies create babies. So you are responsible for that. Even if she keeps the baby and you don't want her to keep the baby, you are responsible because when you made the decision to stick your penis, your raw penis in pussy, you decided that you were going to take the risk and shoot your nut in it. You decided to take the risk that potentially a baby could be made. That's because we all know that that's what happens when you stick penises in pussies. So regardless she keeps it or not keep it, you decide that you're going to risk being a father by doing that. Okay, I just want to get that clear. Okay. I want that to be clear. So, talk about marriage. So he's talking about how, but he's talking about how, ooh, I'm not, and I think what he's saying is right and correct. I think it's beautiful. I think it's great. But as a man, you actually get to have that kind of freedom. Because Hold on. I'm going to get to my notes. So, as a man, historically and societally, labor of parenthood, labor of what goes on the household is gendered. Like, and it's still like largely we assign women primarily to the role of caregivers and nurturers. And we relegate them to being these kind of whatever is going on in the private sphere of our lives, like our home, what's going on in our private sphere. Women are supposed to be taking care of that, raising the children, doing the laundry, cooking and cleaning in our private homes. Okay. And so they are delegated to that space, while men, on the other hand, have been positioned to be the breadwinners, the providers in the public sphere. So there is no social consequence for a man to be out, for a man, even if he's a father, to be out in these streets. Got it? This kind of division of labor means that a woman is socialized from a very young age to take on the domestic and child care responsibilities. That's why we was giving kids baby dolls and easy bake ovens and giving boys GI Joes and cars and trucks and da 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 da. Because nigga, you gotta work. You gotta go get in the military or get on some trucks or do some construction, do some work. Both harmful. While while women are delegated to like these social ideas, these not social ideas, these caretakers and home private sphere jobs, the men are not delegated to that. So things are changing and shifting, of course, because of the women's movement, because the queer movement, because different stuff like that. So things are changing, but still people have the ideas around what a woman should be doing, what a man should be doing, and it is rooted in their identity as a woman and man. Because what? That woman and man is a social construct. You're not a real woman if you don't do this. How many times have you heard men and women say that? You're not a real woman if you don't do A. You're not a real woman if you don't do B. You're not a real man if you don't do C. You're not a real man if you don't do D. How many times, how many statements do you believe like that? You're not a real man if you don't do blah. You're not a real woman if you don't do blah. And fill in the blank. How many of your beliefs is rooted in gendered rules like that? And how many other people do you think have that? Tons of people. Wow. And so the dudes usually they're socialized to be away. That's why there's no consequences to men being away. We just now doing all the work and being at the job for 60 hours and blah 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 blah, and coming and not being really emotionally available and attentive when he come home from work, because he's out doing the baking. What is it? What's the saying? Earning the bacon or whatever, bringing home the bacon. But we don't give him the responsibility of the emotional responsibility of taking care of what's going on in the house. That is all laid at the feet of the mother. And there is a motherhood penalty versus a fatherhood bonus. So, studies consistently show that women experience a motherhood penalty, like when which gives him the room to be able to say, I like being a parent. Parenting is in all my life. In circles of women who value motherhood, you saying that would not look good on you as a mother. But and one of the reasons there's a motherhood penalty in the workplace, you face discrimination, you face lower pay, and motherhood could stall your career. You could be on a track to being a tenured partner, and baby, if you get pregnant, it stops. But a man that's not gonna do nothing. That's not gonna stall his career. And this is because there's like these assumptions about commitment when it comes to a man, like or and a woman. Like, how committed are you to this job if you now have children? Now your children become your life. But a man, it might be different. Men often receive like almost like a fatherhood bonus in their in their um in their career, because they are perceived as being more responsible and committed to the work once they have become fathers. And this kind of economic disparity between men and women forces the idea that kind of women must take like a more role in childcare to compensate for their like earning potential. Does that make sense? While men are kind of incentivized to prioritize work, like women are incentivized to be like, you gotta balance both. Where men is like, no, I don't gotta balance both. I just can focus on my career. And we know this is real because there's like this lack of paternity leave and support systems when it comes to fathers, like focusing on their children once their children are born, in the same way that mamas get supported or get some time. I don't want to say supported. Let me correct that. Mamas at least get some maternity leave because it's ingrained in our culture that she needs to be with the baby when she have children, and that can be detrimental to her career trajectory. Oh, she's pregnant, she's washed up. And we see this across societies. There's tons of societies that don't have like a robust paternity leave policy, if they even exist. Men are way more often discouraged from taking time off. They just way discouraged to do that. So this furthers put women in the mindset, women and men in the mindset that their place is childcare. And so when we think about that kind of idea of marriage and I think because he's a man, he gets room to be able to think about these things in a more fluid, nuanced way. Oh, it's not going to be all of my life. And anybody who follows him knows that he takes care of his children. He is really present with his children. So it's no he's a great dad from what I see. But he gets to have that nuance. I don't think women get to have that nuance, especially if they're married, especially if they are always going to be bucket. If they're trying to do something new and do motherhood different, they are going to always be bucked up against a system that says this is how it should be done, and be judged if you don't do it that way. I want to talk about also, I want to talk about like patriarchal norms when it comes to expectations of the ideal father. There's limited definitions of fatherhood. Traditionally, in patriarchal norms, fatherhood is determined by being the financial provider, or being a disciplinarian, because this idea of they're a financial support system, they're a financial provider, and they're disciplinarian. There's a little bit of which things are starting to shift, but there's not a emphasis on the father playing an active nurturing role in the engagement in the daily care. Now, like I said, things are changing, so there's like this growing recognition of the importance of fathers to be involved. Society still limits men's perceived roles to being kind of like that's the woman's job, instead of equally co-parenting the children in that kind of emotional way. I pay all the bills, so I get home. I just want to sit home and be on the video game. I done paid all the bills. What now? What now? You want me to cook and clean? even though the wife be having a job too. Anyway. Now, just to give a little bit of nuance, there are women who do some kind of maternal gatekeeping, because I've seen some instances where mothers consciously or unconsciously contribute to this kind of disparity because they're gatekeeping childhood responsibilities. Now I've seen this, but it's not super common, but I've seen it where they can internalize like society norms and then not even let, and they position themselves as like the expert caregiver. They position themselves as I know how to do this better than you because I'm a woman. And they don't actually trust their partner's ability to actually do what they're supposed to do because of men's limited socializing, not being able to socialize to caregive. I've seen that, not a lot, but I've seen that. I also seen, because of that idea, I've seen men weaponize their incompetence. They will be playing stupid so they don't have to do that kind of work, creating an imbalance in the work, that's the labor and kin keeping that's happening in the household when it comes to keeping the whole house afloat. They're weaponizing their incompetence. I've seen that as well. And so when he was talking about that, just in conclusion, I was thinking about just this kind of unequal burden of parenthood um that I see and I observed, and this is coming from somebody who is not a parent. I just see this kind of unequal burden of parenthood that makes it easier for him to have this kind of nuanced idea of his parenthood. Um, and I think that unequal burden is not necessarily inherent to biological differences, but more the social construct of marriage and maintaining these patriarchal systems, and they can be exacerbated by racism because Black women historically um, e- experience this kind of intersectional oppression that highlights the invisibility, um, labor and performance. Like we're not only meant to be mules and go to work, but we also got to be mules and do all the labor at home. That mammy trope, we got to take care of our kids and other people's kids. There's like this Patricia Hill Collins talk about other mothering, where you not only have to take care of your kids, you got to take care of other people's kids too. And I don't think that that's a bad thing if it was balanced, because I think one of the things that sets our culture apart, and that I think that colonization kind of forced into us, is this kind of individualized family unit where it's not a communal support system in regards to how we support our children. There's cultures in old school ancient Africa that the biology of the child don't matter. We all got to take care of the children. Like, so who the father is don't matter. We don't care about paternity. We know who the mother is. And we know that we all got to take care of the whole tribe's children, because that's how we move forward. So we all take care of the children. It don't matter who the daddy is, like, oh, this is your child, so you take care of them. No, the whole community take care of the children. That's where the proverb, it takes a village and all that kind of stuff. Like, that's really, really common. I think that is a part of that's one of those things that has come up. Listen, when we were coming out of slavery, one of the things was we were taking care of our community. We were taking care of each other. And we know the data shows that community-based care is the way to go, is a key factor in the success of people's lives. And so I think we have actually, because of white supremacy and patriarchy and racism and all that kind of shit, I think we have lost that kind of vibe, and we're all too focused on that family unit, and I don't think that works for us as a people. But I think addressing this, in my last notes, was addressing this disparity requires dismantling patriarchal norms, creating equitable economic and social policies, and challenging our narrow definitions of masculine and feminine. That's one of the problems with what we have talked about this whole week. This whole 2 weeks with this Just Hilarious stuff, with the video I just showed y'all about T.S. Madison, with the just all these kind of gender things. One of the problems is we don't have a more expansive mindset about what we think about a woman, what we think about a man. If we had a more expansive mindset about these things, and we weren't trying to be stuck in boxes, we would actually make room for not only ourselves to have more stretching room, to be more comfortable and cared for, but our community to have more stretching room and be more comfortable and taken care of. And further in the conversation with T.S. Madison and Nene, the conversation goes on. We didn't continue the conversation because that beginning part was so one-on-one, but the conversation goes on to be where she didn't want to deal with a bisexual man. Now, do I think that's one-on-one? I don't think that's a one-on-one conversation. I think that's a 201 maybe. I don't think it's super, super deep, but 201. And so we have to not erase bisexual people and talk about. Let's listen. As a matter of fact, let's go to that part.
I'm gonna go ahead and say it.
Let's go.
Right. So whatever you see you like, whatever I'm on, that's what I'm on today. Yeah. Okay, guys.
You know, a lot of men are that
he's been with a man.
He's been with a lot of men.
Like
Nene, if you've
Hello
dated,
Kitty,
if you've dated,
she wants somebody who like pussy all the time.
I need you to like
Nene, if you've
Hello
dated,
Kitty all the time.
if you've dated men,
yes.
If you've dated men, there's a possibility in your life that
he's been with a man.
He's been with something.
What do you mean even with something?
He's been outside. I mean, here's the thing. I know that women consider trans women men because we were born male. Mm-hmm. But there's a difference between being man and male.
Okay. So she goes into prep.
Me and you, I don't want to talk to him no more.
You don't?
No. Because, see, he's not telling me the truth. 9 times out of 10. The guy seemed like he would come and tell me that he's bisexual. So what if he never told me? Isn't he lying to me? You said they wake up and lie.
They do.
So he woke up and lied.
But how is it? How can we make men comfortable to even say that they find other things outside?
I don't know, but I feel like he should
societal-
tell me what he likes.
But here's the thing: you might demonize him for telling.
I won't. I just probably won't be with him.
Yeah, that is correct. And then men risk. They risk losing that. You know, there's some men that have experiences, just like there are women that have had an experience.
Well, why he can't do to me the same thing he doing to you?
Because I don't have a pussy.
But
so there's a lot of stuff, and this is those moments where I love T.S. Madison, but these are those moments that I don't think she has the range to deeply go into the conversation with Nene about this. I think she has surface level education about it, anecdotal experience about it. I don't think she has the range to deeply explain to Nene about this, because they there's a lot of stuff that's being said that you gotta explain. And listen, some random motherfucker on the internet, I don't think I'm gonna be jumping and explaining to a motherfucker. But if I'm friends with you or if I'm on your platform, these are the moments where you got to have the range to do it, because you can do a disservice not only to your community, but to the person that you're talking to if you don't have the range. To the people who's listening, if you don't have the range to do it, it can actually do more harm. To me, that's my opinion. And so yeah, I think that she said,
I won't. I just probably won't be with him.
Yeah, that is correct. And
so T.S. Madison asked her, well, what how are you gonna, and this is a legitimate question, how are men gonna have the room to be honest with you if you're gonna demonize them for it? This is the problem. That is a legitimate question, but the problem is, I don't think somebody saying that they don't want to deal with you is demonizing you. Just because I don't want to give you, I don't owe you access to me. And you telling me if I want to choose to not, because of my biphobia, if I want to choose, or homophobia, if I want to choose to not sleep with you because of that, then so fucking be it. That's my right. It's my body. But you lying and not being honest about it, if I ask you, that don't justify the lie. You're being honest. You're being dishonest. And you don't get to have access to my body and lie to me. That makes you wrong. And so men dealing with the consequences of, it can be negative or positive, of who you choose to sleep with. That's just what it is. That's just what comes. Sometimes me being trans is gonna stop me from having sex with somebody that I want to have sex with. When I tell them I'm trans, they don't owe me dick. They don't owe me the opportunity. That's what it is. And I think the same way with cis women too. They don't owe you their pussy. They can be as discriminatory as they want about their pussy. And if you're lying, you are the wrong person, regardless of the consequences. You are the wrong person. Now, there's a difference when you are making assumptions. We ain't talked about it. We ain't discussed it. We ain't discussed it. No, I'm not lying to you. You made assumptions that I was just straight and we messed around. I didn't lie to you. I think that scenario is different. But if you ask me, do I mess around with gays? Do I mess around with trans? Do I mess around with people? And I lied to you just to have access to your body, I'm the shady person, not you. Do you have some homophobia and biphobia that you can work out? Sure, we can talk about that, but you still have the right to sleep with whoever you want to and be discriminatory if you want to about your sex life. That's just what it is. That's just the truth. I don't think that is I don't think cis women who have a cis women who think like Nene thinks, I don't think that is necessarily wrong because it's not harming anyone. I can be discriminatory about who I sleep with. I don't have to open my bedroom to everybody just because of your politics, just because of blah, 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 blah. Is it rooted in homophobia and biphobia and the stigma of HIV? Because the HIV conversation comes up because they start talking about, should I get on PrEP? Because the subtext of usually the fear that goes on is HIV, AIDS, because of the history of HIV and AIDS with queer people. The subtext is always there. That's why HIV always comes up. That's why, even though they were talking about dating and him, should I get on PrEP is the next question. Because that's the subtext. That's the underlying fear. But that's weird. That's homophobic and weird because you can get HIV from him cheating on you with a cisgender woman. So is it rooted in problematic beliefs and ideas? Absolutely. But I still get the choice. I still have a right to be discriminatory, I think, in my bedroom. I think that's everybody. I'm somebody who think that is, I don't want to say okay. I just think that I don't get to tell you that that's not okay as a person that's outside of the room, that's not sleeping with you. I don't get to say that. HIV never comes up when they speak about men being promiscuous with cisgender women. Facts. So it's just I think that conversation it can be difficult. It can be but that's one of those conversations that it's really hard to change people's mindset. The only people who I have saw change their mindset about that is when they find out later and they've already fell in love with this person. And usually they're older. And because they still want to be involved with this person, they start to make those kind of compromising. Like I have a family member who I'm trying to be more discreet when I talk about my family. I have a family member who is who found out that their a guy that they were dating was positive. And the person previous to this, they would be just like Nene talking. But because of their lack of options, their age, they have become way more understanding and more, I don't want to say not understand, more willing to understand. Like they're going down these research, they're learning about PrEP. This is not negative. This is not, I don't think that this is a bad thing, but it's just interesting how different she thought about it when she was young and hot, as opposed to now that she's older and not. I think that that changed her mindset. I think those lack of options has her out here more open to looking at things with a more nuanced lens, to give her the option to be with the person who she's engaging with. Okay. What else did I want to talk about?
And
all right, so this is
Jennifer
a little.
Holiday got there first, if I'm remembering this correctly.
Hold on. So, all right, so this is a whole flip. If you like the conversation, thumbs up. That's the social construct stuff that I wanted to hit on in the conversation. This is other cultural stuff that I wanted to hit on. All right. So this has nothing to do with nothing what we just talked about. This is a total switch up. So do y'all remember? So do y'all know who Stephen Hill is? Stephen Hill is he used to work for BET. He was on this podcast called We Sound Crazy. And they asked him the context of this conversation that I'm about to let y'all listen to. They asked him what was his favorite BET moment. So he was one of the executives during like the height of BET, like the golden era, like 106 in Park, the BET Awards that was booming, all these amazing award shows that we remember. And so they asked him what was his favorite award show moment. And he is talking about, he said his favorite award show moment was the Jennifer Holiday and Jennifer Hudson performance at the BET Awards when they did I Am Telling You. And so if you don't know the story of that, Paramount, who did Dreamgirls, did not contact Jennifer Holiday at all, like to be a consultant. They were like kind of, I don't want to say black sheep, not her, not blackballing her, but just normally if some kind of iconic role, people go to the person who made the role iconic. But for whatever reason, I don't know that history of that, but for whatever reason, they were not fucking with Jennifer Holiday. It was crazy. Yes, he recently married Shantae Moore. Yes. And so they are
there first, if I'm remembering this correctly. And when Jennifer Hudson walked in, she almost burst into tears and ran over to Jennifer Holiday. Nobody in that room knew that at the time, those two had never met. That's crazy. They met at the rehearsal for the opening for the BET Awards that year. Jennifer Hudson's team was filming it. We weren't filming it because it's a rehearsal, especially when it comes to women in rehearsals. You don't. Yes. Back then, especially, you don't tape that. Yeah. So we had no cameras in the room, but Jennifer and it let Jennifer Holiday know the love that was really there, right? She I think she was a little, oh, you want to do this because the big thing? Like, no, we revere you like you should be revered. Yeah. And when Jennifer Hudson walked in the door and showed that reverence as well, it loosened up everything and drove to that amazing opening performance. That I will say is my. I mean, again, there's a lot to choose from, but that's the one because it's so black. Yes. like the Grammys aren't doing. They're not even thinking about that. They're not doing that at all. Like there's nobody doing that except the BET Awards, right? The Grammys would love to have Beyonce splash around in water, right? But for us, there's nobody's putting Jennifer on stage and doing that.
All right. So this is my thing I wanted to talk about. So what y'all thought about that just so far before I say what I got to say? What do y'all think about them shading Jennifer Holiday, Paramount, and the people who created Dreamgirls, the new version, the movie version? What do y'all feel about her? Feel about that? What's your mindset about that? Eon Lighthouse, I think you got to refresh. What are y'all thoughts about that? Because I have things that I feel because I'm kind of annoyed by that. Lying is never necessary unless it's a life or death situation. Lying to get some pussy is never necessary. Lying to have sex with cisgender women, lying about your sexuality to have sex with people is never necessary. Lying to keep yourself safe from physical danger, yes, but lying to get pussy is never necessary. I can't run with that. I think that's where you at, but I'm gonna add that. But anyway, we're moving on from that conversation. They kind of treated her like the character. That's a good observation. Music neurons. Is a person still trans attracted? I don't know what you're talking about in that question. I don't remember what you were talking about. But this is my issue with that scenario. There is no way me, as a plus size Black woman, as a new actress, there is no, and as this woman, there's no way I'm not going to contact the plus size Black woman who made this role iconic that I've been cast. Even on my own dime, even on my own time, I don't care what these big wigs are saying. There is no way that if I was Jennifer Hudson, that the first step of my research wouldn't be to get the contact information for Jennifer Holliday. There is no way, even if they weren't going to pay for it, I would have to sit down with her and have a dinner, have a phone call, not even a dinner. We got to have lunch. We got to have dinner. I need to talk to you about this character, even on my own dime, even if they won't do it. Yeah, I don't have any excuse, even the youthfulness of it. There's no way, even on my own dime, that I, as a plus size Black woman to another plus size Black woman, that I am not going to try to get a hold of Jennifer Holliday for this role. Not once I'm cast, once the ink is signed and I'm the character and the ink is signed and I got it, I can be all coy and shit before the ink is signed because I don't know if I'm going to get the role. So whatever they say goes. But once I got it, once the ink is signed, oh, baby, I'm calling around to people's agents. Yo, can we find Jennifer Holliday for you? I want to talk to her. Can we find Jennifer? And Jennifer Holliday wants some obscure person. She was doing... she's been back in the scene. She had kind of been out of the scene for a minute, but then she started doing award shows too. So she wasn't just out here, but she wasn't playing the same Effie as Jennifer Holliday played. Yes, she was. What are you talking about? Effie is Effie. Now, her Effie is going to be different. That's just like any Broadway show. Your character is going to be different, but you're still playing Effie. You're still playing Effie, the Effie of Dreamgirls. That's the character. And so, yes, you're going to make it your own because you're a whole different actress. But the research is just like when Whatchamacallit did Wicked. Yes, Cynthia Erivo is going to have her own alphabet, but she's going to go to Adina. Ain't that her name? Adina? Whatever, I can't remember her name. But she's going to go to Oh Girl. She's going to go to the girl who made the character iconic. You're going to go talk to her. You're going to go see what's up. You're going to do that. That's just common. Like, even if they don't pay for it or whatever, they don't pay for the consultation, Jennifer had been in the game long enough to have managers to be able to say, hey, and she's a Black girl. She can go to other Black girls and say, hey, can y'all find Jennifer Hudson for me? Jennifer Holliday for me. I cannot fathom that. And first of all, I don't like Jennifer Hudson as a talk show host because she be saying she be sounding slow and retarded. She is like the female version of Shannon Sharp to me. Like they questions of, I'm trying to get out of the habit of saying retarded because that's ableist, and that's another word that I'm trying to take out of my vocabulary. So to me, Shannon Sharp and Jennifer Hudson is something not smart about them to me. And so when they ask questions, it just seems very like, get out of here. And so if I was on her show, I would ask her, I would need to ask her, I need you to explain to me how that happens. She needs to get out of Wendy's chair. Are we talking about Jennifer Hudson? We're not talking about Sherry Shepard. We're not talking about Sherry Shepard. I'm talking about Jennifer Hudson. Yeah, I just there's no way that the iconic plus size Black woman, that I'm not contacting her. Sherry does suck though. Yes. I just can't see me doing that. I can't see me not finding a way to contact her. You so long after to where y'all doing the BET Awards, and this is the first time that y'all meeting or contact each other. Girl, get out of here. No, I'm sorry. I can't do it. Yeah. That's so weird to me. Jennifer took over from The Real. Ain't Miss Holiday a recluse? No, she was active. That's why she was doing the award show. She was doing stuff. And when they announced that the movie was being made, her, Sheryl Lee Ralph, and Loretta Devine was doing little things together. Tell me what y'all think about this. This is Arnez J, and he is on ClubShayShay.
I said, Auntie, I'm getting ready to go talk to Dad. And my aunt said, oh, you mean the man that raised you? What? What? Can you imagine as a grown up, you hearing that? Yeah. For the first time? I'm like, what? That wasn't you. She go, to talk to your mama. My world is, now you don't got my world just got blew up. I already don't look like nobody in the family. Then you tell me the man that raised me. I go to my mama and I said, Mama, I need to ask you a question before I leave. Please be honest with me. I said, Mama, is Daddy my real daddy? Tell you what she did. Boy, and walked off. That's not an answer. It wasn't the answer you wanted to hear, but you got the answer. Boy, going with that. That's not an answer. Yay or nay? Yes or no is the answer. Did you ask her again? Did you ever ask her again? No. That was it. Because I knew she wasn't going to answer it. But did you know deep down? Did you know? No, I didn't. That's the problem. You have to realize, even as adults, a lot of times we don't get closure on things that mess with us when we were a child or that have been through our life.
Right.
And me being a loner like I was, and like I still am and somewhat, but I have a great family, so I'm not alone. I have a great partner. Man, my wife. I said, Auntie, I'm getting ready to go talk to Dad.
All right, so
And my
this is
husband
Arnez
already been
J. And I went into the comments of this video. So Arnez J is talking about how his auntie spilled the tea about how the auntie spilled the tea. And she went to the mom, and the mom never gave him a straight answer about that. And so I went into comments, and somebody gonna say, and I want to hear y'all opinion about this. Somebody gonna say mothers ruin children's lives more than fathers, and based on this video, and I was like, he's literally telling you that his mother found another partner after the dad left. Now, we don't have any details about what happened between the mother and the father. So we don't know if this was a bad situation. We don't know if he abandoned him, she pushed him away. We don't know what the details of why his biological father was not in his life. We don't know the details of why. Okay? But what we do know, based on what he said in his story, is that there was a man in his life that raised him. We know that he is a successful comedian, relatively. We know him. That's why he's here, because he has some type of notoriety. Arnez J. So, my thing is, what do y'all think about? My thing was, he didn't get his life ruined. He had literally was in a, what everybody says statistically is better. He was in a 2-parent household. It wasn't his biological father, but his father raised him. But his stepdad raised him. But he raised him as his son without making him feel weird, like this wasn't his son. So it wasn't like he was treating him like a stepson. This is who he known his father to be, but it really wasn't. So in my brain, this is not a ruin in life. He didn't get his life ruined. Now, is there a conversation to be had about the dishonesty of the mother? Okay. Once he find out, once auntie has spilled the tea, there's a conversation to be had. Is there a conversation about the auntie spilling the tea? Is it her place? Do y'all think it's the auntie being messy? Do y'all think it's the auntie forcing the truth to come out? Like, what do y'all think about the auntie's position? And what do y'all think about the mother's position? Is it wrong for a mother to keep that away from her son's life if she has somebody raising him in his life and doing what you need to do? You don't need to know all of that. So tell me your mindset about that. He didn't ruin his life. Folks be so dramatic, trauma bonding through the internet. Yeah, trying to put people in your situation. Everybody ain't in your situation. Right. So what do y'all think about the auntie? Music said that auntie must have been jealous or something. That's wild. I think that is not your place to do. I think that is not your that is not your. I think people spilling people's secrets and tea. I think that when it comes around children, I feel like that is this person's business to tell. That is not your business to tell. Now, I need to hear the scenario of auntie and mama. Is auntie doing that because mommy is being shady or something? Because then if you got secrets and you being shady to the auntie, sometimes auntie gonna spill tea because bitch you being shady. So don't be trying to, yeah, you got a man over there, but because I'm over here single, you trying to judge me because I got all these baby daddies or whatever, blah, 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 blah. But let's talk about you. Your baby don't even know that ain't his daddy. Now, in those scenarios, I'm like, maybe sis should have kept her mouth shut and stopped trying to judge auntie. Now, if it's that scenario, then I'm always like, yo, you opened up the can of worms. If you know you got secrets, you should be being nice. Now, is auntie just telling the tea just to be messy? Like mama ain't did nothing to her. Then that's kind of weird to me. I would even be more impressed with my father in the moment. You talk about like the stepdad. Yeah, I mean, who gives a care? She didn't ruin his life. The person just hates women, but she made a grave, selfish mistake. It's unacceptable to lie about that. Is it a mistake? I don't know if I think that's a mistake. I don't know if I think that is a mistake. Lying about that, I don't know if I think that that's a mistake. I don't know if I think that that's a mistake. I don't know if I think that that's a mistake. I don't know. I'm not totally against that. It's something about if I'm with this man and he is loving my child and treating my child like he is, and it started really, really early, and I don't want to even go through the now I feel like lying about it, avoiding the answer once the child start asking you, yes. But I ain't totally against just saying, man, this man is treating my kids great. This your daddy. I ain't totally against that. It he doesn't feel ostracized. He doesn't feel like a step kid, especially if the stepfather is going along with it. Like this my son. This my fuck what y'all talk about. This is my son too, and we just gonna be together and raise our children like our children. It is what it is. It's kind of like adopted parents. I'm not. There's some adopted parents who don't choose to tell their children that they're adopted. I'm not totally mad about that. There's some adopted parents that do. I'm not totally mad about that. He said he never looked like anyone else. But I don't think that there's tons of children who are the same, literally have the same biological family members, and one doesn't look like they're biological. That don't mean anything. My aunt did this to my cousin, and my cousin just sat there and laughed. But her mom and dad have been dead for years. It definitely messy. She does stuff like this all the time. That's so shady. So how do you politely tell your child that their dad is a sperm donor? I think if your child comes to you and asks, I think if you lie about it, that's when it becomes shady. Um, I'm not totally. I don't totally agree with the idea that just keeping it a secret is inherently a bad thing. I think when they come to you and asking you lie, that's a bad thing because then that's being dishonest. But them just not knowing as they grow up, this is my dad, da 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 da. This is a dad I know, blah blah blah. I don't think that that's necessarily a problem. Um, I can see how you could feel a way about not having the opportunity to know his real father. That too also depends on the circumstances. I just shared with y'all that I just met my younger brother and we're just finding out about each other. Well, not finding out about each other, but we're just now as adults coming into each other's life and talking. And clearly he has had some traumatic experiences around my dad. My dad tried to stab his mom. And so his mom raising him, if her raising him with her the stepdad as his father, if she had a traumatic experience with this nigga and she kept him a secret, or he was a fucking weirdo, or she found out that he was a molester, or whatever she did to protect her child from whatever comes with this fucking dude, I don't think that that's necessarily wrong or problem. Only when he comes, like if there's a medical condition or he comes to you and he tells you he wants to and you lie, that's when it's the problem. But I think protecting your children, how you do that, however you feel comfortable with doing that, I don't think that that's necessarily wrong or a problem. I think that as a mother, you get to make the decision as to if this dude is safe. And other people don't have to like it. If this dude is safe or problematic, he got these violent tendencies. My one of Y'all know I be telling all my business. That don't mean that everybody else's business need to be told that I know. So sometimes I be just be talking and one of my family members checked me. So I've been trying to, and it wasn't my business to tell, but in my brain, I was like, oh, don't none of y'all know my family members. So da, 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 da. And my little nieces was like, but Diamond, we your family and we watch you. And so you don't know what other family members is watching and they don't need to know everything. And I was like, you right, you right, you right. So I was about to say something that I shouldn't say. But imagine that you are a mother. So, I'm trying to control my my openness to talk about other people's tea. um I'm imagine that you are a mother and imagine that you are a mother and your baby daddy sets a car on fire and runs it into your house. He's that type of violent person. He sets a car on fire and runs the car into your house to destroy your home. I don't know if my reaction is to cut you off and hide you and hide my kids from you. If you that kind of violent person with the data around intimate partner violence and the data around people killing people mothers, like we just literally saw a father in Washington State take all his 3 kids in a custody on a custody weekend that he fought to get and killed them fucking 3 kids, her 3 children. So if a mother says this person is crazy or whatever happened, I don't feel safe around this person and I want to distance my child from them, I don't find that wrong. And I done found a new partner who loves my child. Fuck y'all. I would to me, I don't think that that's wrong. I just don't. I think that's up to the mother. I don't think um I don't think every dad is great. I don't think every dad is great. I'm one who don't have one. I'm one who don't have a great dad. My dad is toxic as fuck. He always has been. And so I don't think every dad is great. And it wasn't until years later that my mother was able to have a real conversation with me about my dad. Um, let's see. My brother is in his 40s, and my mom wouldn't reveal his dad to him until he was in his 30s. Didn't reveal his dad to him. The mother owes him an answer. Auntie was messy, or maybe she thought he knew because he was an adult now. Oh, that bitch didn't think he knew. Once he asked, I think yes, mom. When the children ask you, I think it's your responsibility to tell them the truth. Um, my great aunt did this to my cousin, and my cousin. Well, I've skipped. Hey, Cliffy. I am dealing with this situation right now. My aunt did her ancestry DNA test, and based on her results, I can tell that my grandfather, her father, isn't her biological father. My aunt wants us to help her understand her DNA results, but we are trying to stall her because she will find out. So my uncle is going to talk to her about it. It's as a longtime follower, I know the exact tea you're talking about, but yes, I keep it anonymous. I did keep it anonymous. I didn't say any names, but they know the names, and based on scenario, if you were in my family, you would be able to tell. But then you end up on a podcast 30 years later talking about a shady auntie who shook your reality. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, but listen, life ain't perfect. People don't get instruction manuals when it comes to children. People don't. Every person that you hook up with and have a baby by ain't gonna be the perfect partner, ain't gonna be the perfect husband or be the perfect father. Um, life brings you snags. I say this about detransitioners too, trans detransitioners. We can't avoid every single trans person detransitioning. We're not going to be able to avoid every negative scenario that we have as an adult. We're not going to be able to avoid it. That's just what it is. And so sometimes mama thought that doing this was the right thing for you. This is the man in my life. He raised you. He's a good father. He took care of you and he helped us get along. And so she made the best decision for herself. I don't think it ruined his life at all. Um, can he have questions? Yes. And I think she should be obligated to answer them. But I don't think she's necessarily wrong. I'm in the long. Auntie knows he didn't know. That could have been the best decision his mom could have made for him. Who knows? All of that shit. For me, it's a not knowing if my real father would have been great or not. That's a question. But your mother can only know what she knows about your father. She can only know from her perspective and make the best decision based on what she knows. And sometimes that situation is wrong, and sometimes the situation is right. And sometimes it doesn't affect you in a negative way or positive. It just kind of, this is what it is. Listen, them aunties be messy. My parents been divorced for 40 years, and they still asking about my dad every chance they get, like he minding his business. Them aunties know what they be doing for sure. I would be devastated to find tea like that out as an adult. Not gonna lie. I found out when I was 12. I'm not saying that it's not shocking. I don't want to make sure I don't want that to be what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that shit, life happens. And sometimes you don't know how shit is gonna turn out. And you make the best decisions for the moment. And maybe his mama's best decision was, I don't need him to be thinking that he's separate from the rest of the kids. So I'm just saying, fuck it. I know I got a good man, which he clearly did because he raised somebody else's kids. And he was a good father to him. So she was actually right. And so the part that I think she's wrong in is when he came and asked her and she didn't tell him the truth. I think that that is wrong. But making the decision to keep it a secret, I don't think that that's wrong. I can't run with that. But it's one of those things that it's no right or wrong answer. It's like some people gonna think it's wrong, some people gonna think it's right. I love my dad so much, but if it came out that he wasn't my biological father, I'll still love him just as the same, but absolutely would feel betrayed. So everyone who knew, not just so everybody knew, but not by everyone who knew, but you would feel betrayed by everyone who knew, but not him. But why wouldn't you feel betrayed by him? Because he would have known. Unless he didn't know either. But what if he knew? You would be betrayed by him too. I think about that's what happened with have y'all read Kerry Washington's book? Kerry Washington's book. She reveals that her father wasn't her father and they kept it a secret, but they raised her. Kerry Washington, in her book, she talks about her parents keeping that secret to them. But it was revealed in not a messy way. It wasn't revealed by somebody else. What it was, Kerry Washington was scouted to be on Finding Your Roots by, that show that does the celebrity DNA. And she was calling her parents to tell them, hey, I'm going to be on this show, Finding Your Roots, and they're going to do my DNA. So do y'all want to participate? And so the mama and the daddy was like, whoa. Before you do that, we weren't going to tell you, but before you do that, we might want to sit and tell you. And so they had to come clean before she did the show so that it wouldn't just be a surprise to her. And so did y'all hear about that? Y'all didn't hear about do y'all follow Kerry Washington like that? But that's what happened to her. Like she was going to be on one of those shows and she asked her parents and the parent was like, nah, don't do that. I think first they was like, nah, don't do that. But then they was like, oh shit. Because she's celebrity, they like, you gotta ask. And she gonna be out like, why? This is a great opportunity. Why wouldn't I want to do this? And so they had to come out and tell her the tea. So it's wild. Y'all look it up. She did the interview with Robin from Good Morning America. Robin, what's Robin's last name? The lesbian? Robin something. I can't remember her name. Let me go get me something to drink. What y'all think about that? It was a crazy story, but yes, her book was like thicker than water. Yes. Robin Roberts, thank you. Folks got to stop taking stuff to the grave. Skip Gates revealed a whole family secret. Yeah. I don't know. It just depends on the person, man. Depends. I'm also a person like, child, if it gets to a point, just let that shit go. Oh. So the older people in my area say it's necessary to let children know for the health reasons and just so there isn't a sexual encounter with siblings. That's fair. Jerry Springer dropped the biggest bombs after death with an entire black family. Really? Was that real? I didn't know if that was real or not. So I really didn't go down the rabbit hole of him having a whole entire black family. Was that real? But yeah, that's all I wanted to talk about, y'all. What do y'all want to talk about? What's on your mind? Not true. Yeah, I wasn't for sure if the Jerry Springer stuff was real, but I didn't go down the rabbit hole to see if it was true. I don't know anything about Trump and Musk. I know that they're fighting, but child, I'm so over them that I haven't really. They're doing so much damage that I'm kind of exhausted. I'm gonna get back in the saddle, but right now I have bigger fish to fry, which is more not bigger fish, that wouldn't be the right word, but more directly issues that are more directly impactful right now. I hope they tell all the secrets. I mean, are they going to tell something that we don't know, though? He was bringing up Epstein's list. Like, who does not believe that Trump is on the Epstein list? I mean, we know that he's a criminal. He's a criminal. Do they care? No. Like, all the shit that could be revealed, what is it going to change? Like, people who support him is still going to support him. Like, he's literally a criminal. We know he's a criminal. We know he was held liable for rape cases. What other evils can he do that we don't know? Like, he would literally have to, like he said, stand in the middle of the street and shoot somebody in their face. And then even then, would that stop people from supporting him? They literally stormed the Capitol. Like, they did something that an insurrection that hadn't been done in centuries. Like, this nigga had done so many things that would, if it was anybody else, we wouldn't even be. There are people who have stepped out of presidential races for way less, for their fucking child having babies or something. Like, we are in a different space, y'all. We are in a different space. Y'all remember this always feels awkward to say. In the 1900s, there was a politician who dropped out of the race because his son was coming out as gay. And he wasn't going to disown him. Either in Colorado or Utah, somewhere out west. I can't remember his name. I wish I could. That's his. That he's lasted this long is just a testament to how fucked up we are. Do you remember doing a segment on Marsha's Plate titled "Businesses You Can Start Under $100"? The way things going, I need it. No, I don't remember. I don't remember. I know. I remember what was amazing to me. A situation like that. I've had this experience in my not this experience, but I met somebody like this in my real life. But I also seen it on the internet. She's not my homegirl, but she's in my, the rule of 6 degrees of separation. She's not my friend, but she's friends of friends, and I see her at different events. She makes about now. She makes about 200K, like 6 figures now. But how she got started, she started spending like some of her money on her checks. She would go to, and she started with $100. And I've seen her do it. And there's this dude that I follow. I don't know his name, child. I haven't seen his videos. You know how sometimes you follow people, but they don't be showing you their videos? It was that kind of situation. Yeah, that's true. But she started with $100. And I might have told the story on that episode if I did. Not if I did, I'm pretty sure I did. But she got 2 chairs and a table for $100 at a Goodwill or like a thrift store, something cheap. 2 chairs and a table. She reupholstered the table. She revarnished the table, reupholstered the chairs, and sold them for like $250. I love frozen cherries. But you can eat a whole bag because look at the calories on the whole bag. It's like 70. That's better than chips. And you get more vitamins and fiber. And yeah, it's only 70 in the whole bag. Well, the bags I get. I don't know what bags you get. So, but she took the $100, sold the items, the chair and the table, for it was a chair for $10, 2 chairs for $10, and a table for $20. So it was anyway, I can't remember. But she redid them, and it wasn't a lot of work. It was like normal stuff. Sandpaper it down, revarnish it, reupholster the fucking cushions, make it look sickening and more up to date, and it looks love. And it took her like an hour and a half to do the work, and not much to honey. $20 for the little tools that she needed, and she sold them to where she made a sickening profit. And then she did it again. Then she did it again. Then she did it again. Did it again. She got to the point where she was going out spending $1,000 on items, refurbishing them, and selling them on OfferUp, Facebook Marketplace. She was taking good pictures of the product and selling them and flipping her money. And it got so good that she was able to buy a pickup truck to go pick up some of the stuff that she was finding, because she then would find big dressers that she could just take the handles off and replace them with more up-to-date handles, just redo everything, and then boom, sell it for way more than she bought it for. Capitalism. But she will update the quality of it, update the paint, update everything on it, so it's not looking old and vintage, unless it's sickening vintage, and then you just repaint it or redo whatever you do. And she got to the point where now she has her own storage unit to where she stores things at, and she buys it. And then eventually she started to have like a little storefront, but then she had to lose the storefront because the people were trying to charge her too much, and so she went back to working out of her so she had a little storefront that did well for a little bit, but then the people who the people were charging her too much, so they started to eat at her bottom line. So she went back to selling out of her storage unit, to where she just would have pictures of the items and then deliver and charge a delivery fee and deliver to the people. So it started to be better like that, instead of having an actual furniture store. And so that was easy. I wish that I had the patience and skill and room in my house to do that. I just don't. I would love for people who this is one thing that I be jealous about, people who have partners, especially people who have partners with business mindsets. Because if I had a handyman ass dude, like a dude that liked to do shit like that, I'm the bitch who like to take the pictures and do the internet stuff for it. Like, you do the work of it and I do the internet selling of it. I would love to have a man like that who love to do all kinds of shit like that, and I actually promote his work, and he just got to do the work of it, and he ain't got to do the social media part of it, the advertising of it. I would love to do that part of the job. But the actual, probably urethane and cutting and sawing, and I don't want to do that shit. But I love to see them shows. Like, it's a bunch of shows that I be watching, like they will go and renovate houses, and the husband is doing the work. The wife would do the work sometime too, but she be the one that's like doing plans, doing all kinds of like fire stuff. I'm about to do a nail tech course for a side hustle. Nails is a good hustle that if you're good at it, it can become a lucrative business. She sold it on Facebook. She sold it on she sold it on Facebook. She sold it on she said Offered Up. There's a app called Offered Up. I think I've seen it once or twice. Offered Up. She says it's different. She was saying it's a bunch of kind of apps that you can sell stuff on. So let me handle the back end of it. Yes, honey. Let me do that part of it. Let me do the fun, artsy part. The labor, no, thank you. I'll take some pictures. I know how to light it. I know how to make it look like a sickening product. Like, there's a girl who I follow. Her name is Janae Naylor. She's a fashionista girly. Let me show y'all. Her name used to be Hollow Lux, but now she don't got fancy. So now her name is now she got her professional name. Janae Naylor. So Janae eats. So this is Janae. Been following Janae for years. She do fashion content. You know, she's one of the fashion girlies. But Janae has her husband. This is her husband. I think his name is Josh. Black boy, light-skinned black boy. Who he be doing all her pictures. Like, he does all her like photography and shit. When they go out of the country, he take all of her pictures. Like, they go and all her photo shoots he be doing. Like, all her little photo shoots, he does them. And so they have turned it into this business. I'm like, I wish I had somebody like that who can do all the back end of my shit. Now they out here making money because they are a team doing the damn thing. This grapefruit is good as hell. Teamwork make the dream work. Facts. What's her handle again? Her handle is Janae Naylor. JeneeNaylor. Janae Naylor. Style expert, beauty lover, New York, DC. Janae Naylor. I really like her. She's one of my favorite fashion girlies. Well, all right, y'all. I'm about to finish watching Straw. It is ghetto as hell. And not in the sense of, y'all know I love ghetto shit, but it's so Tyler Perry. Where it is raggedy, it should be on YouTube. I'm not YouTube, it should be on Tubi. It just isn't a well-written film. And it's nothing worse than seeing good actresses put in shitty written films. I hate it. But I'm gonna finish watching it just to support. But oh my God, I hate. So yeah. All right, y'all. I will talk to y'all later. Make sure y'all thumbs up and see ya.